Hello, everybody. Anime Reflux. Woo,
Woo.
woo. Um,
Woohoo.
I probably should have done this earlier, but I'm gonna adjust some volume levels because you guys seem a little quiet.
Yeehaw, I should say.
Here we go. Okay, so this week the anime that we're doing is called Blade 10. We're back in the Sengoku Jedi
It's
for fantasy
Brave 10.
shenanigans.
Brave 10.
For
That's
the
what it is.
1200th time.
Yeah. Okay. So, should I do background for where this fits in now, or should we wait a little bit and get to synopsising?
Honestly, I'd say go ahead. This strikes me as a pretty generic shonen, just a pretty generic one thus far. Let's start with some background on it that will probably be a bit more interesting.
Okay, so from what I can tell, based on the first episode alone, this takes place. Sengoku Jidai. The important bits basically happen when Oda Nobunaga starts taking territory, and it's people that were allied with him that basically win in the end. So he takes a bunch of territory, and then at some point, the Takeda decide, we should probably try and do something about this. So they attack the Tokugawa that are the closest to them, that are allied with Oda. And they get pushed back and basically have to defend their own territory from other sides because it's the Sengoku period and everyone's fighting everyone. And then later on, the Takeda fight them again, but lose again and basically are defeated. And the Sanada clan, that were basically underlings of the Takeda, basically end up going their own way and doing their own thing and allying with various people at different times. So this is pretty much at that point in history, I think. It's the Sonata just sort of on their own, just kind of playing the field with various powers during the Sengoku period. And this is possibly, it's hard to tell, because funnily enough, the events that start this anime center around a temple burning, and that happened multiple times in the Sengoku period. So this is either after Oda decides, okay, fuck these monks that keep fighting all of my troops and getting in my way constantly, and decides to burn down a temple, or it's after Akechi Mitsuhide betrays Oda and kills him at Honoji, which is another temple. So, the temple that, what's her name? Isanami, which is cute. The temple she escapes from is probably one of those two. So,
Alright.
that's where this anime starts, is the temple is burning, whichever one it was, and she is the sole survivor because the head priest helps her escape at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
So, then we have generic shonen anime opening, basically, which, here's the thing I've noticed. It's not really a complaint about this show in particular. It's just sort of a thing that I've noticed over watching a lot of these shows is I think I prefer when the first episode doesn't actually have the opening in it.
Or puts the opening at the end.
Yeah. I think I prefer that and let the story speak for itself rather than trying to draw people in with flashy animation that isn't really conducive to the actual story.
Yeah, like, a lot of newer shows that have come out recently save the opening until the end for probably exactly that reason. But this show's bit older, I remember when this first came out, I actually watched this because I was like, oh, the art style on these characters looks great.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what drew me to it.
Yeah. The artwork is pretty good, I'm not going to lie, as is the animation. Nothing mind-blowing as we'd see today. I think we got a little bit spoiled on that, to be frank.
Yeah.
But for whenever it was, I should probably... what year did it come out? I'll pull up the tab.
Okay. It came out a few years ago, I think.
It was 2012, so it's not that old, but it's
Yeah.
a little old. But things kind of exploded in terms of animation a couple of years after this, I think.
Mhm.
But for what it is, for when it came out, it's it's pretty well developed, and for a 12-episode season, they can get away with doing that. Really, I think. Anyway, so after the opening, we get our other protagonist, whose name I've forgotten.
Sizo.
ISO, was that?
Sizo.
Sizo, right, okay. He is an Iga clan ninja, despite having a stupidly oversized sword. Yeah. But the Izanami, the priestess, she literally stumbles across him and throws herself into his arms and begs him to save her, and he's like, no.
Nothing personal, kid.
Yeah, basically, it's just, okay, sorry, person that randomly stumbled upon me in the woods, but I don't care and I have my own shit to deal with. Good luck. And then a bunch of other ninja, who we don't know the affiliation of, at this point at least, show up and they're like, oh, look, a witness. We need to kill him too. At which Sizo was like, alright, fine. And kills all of them. And then continues to be like, okay, good luck. I saved your ass. You're fine. Do your thing. Whatever it is. Yep.
She berates him for it. He berates her for not even thanking her. She offers to buy him some food. So they go to a nearby town. And he notices that while he's still eating his first bowl, she's gone through half a dozen.
Big eater trope. Nobody cares. It doesn't affect anything whatsoever. It's not played for laughs, it's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be part of the plot.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe that thing in her hair runs on life energy. Which he points out when they're leaving, that it's come loose in her hair. Little gem band, tiara, ponytail, scrunchy thing. And they leave. And he's still pretty much like, I don't care, go away, leave me alone. And she refuses, and then Saratobi Sasuke shows up, who was a ninja retainer of the Sanada clan. Was he Sanada clan? I think he might have been Takeda and then was Sanada when the Takeda were defeated.
This all sounds like nonsense to me.
Basically, the ninja were unaffiliated. They were Naruto ninja. They were mercenaries. They worked for whoever paid them. But they honored their contracts, is something I'll point out. They were very meticulous about that compared to the supposedly honorable samurai. So he shows up and he's like, ugh, Iga clan ninja, because the Saratobi were Koga clan ninja and they were rivals and shit. My connection's dying. So they fight because they're rivals and such. And I forget what happens next to interrupt the fight, but something does.
She puts her arms between them
Right.
and
Yeah. She literally. They're doing the whole, struggle against each other thing. Yeah, the cross blades. And then she literally comes up between them and pushes them apart, which I thought was pretty good. It was a good shot. It was funny.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, I need to get to Ueda and meet with Sanada Yukimura, which is a little odd because Yukimura wasn't actually running Sanada at this point. But, yeah, she's like, I need to go see Sanada Yukimura. And they're like, okay. Takes them to Ueda Castle, which is their clan home.
I'm honestly a bit amused by the way that they handled the cut, because when they first show Saizo musing on what the castle's like, it looks like he's behind bars.
Yeah. Yeah, he muses that the castle is kind of bare and somewhat utilitarian, which I don't know if that's strange for, Sengoku period, maybe. Just like there was as much dick waving with monetary gains as much as military gains, so I guess maybe it's a little strange. I don't actually know. So they get taken to a room where they wait for Yukimura to arrive. He eventually does with an attendant and is like, all right, so what do you guys want? Just kind of not really taking it seriously. He's just like, whatever. All right.
Yeah, I got an
what is it?
immediate Urahara vibe from him.
Yeah, just, what do you want? I was sleeping. So, Izanami, still cute. The name, I mean. She's like, hey, so my temple was burned down, and the head priest told me to come and see you, and hi.
I need help.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going to help you get revenge. He's like, no.
I don't want revenge, and probably at this point realizes doesn't actually know what she wants. And he's like, I don't care. I'm not heartless, you can stay for the night, but I'm not getting into your business.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with whoever's following you.
Yeah. So they don't stay the night. Saizo just fucking leaves because this is none of his business. And he's also not really welcome there because of the Koga clan ninja. So he leaves, but Izanami follows him into the woods. And is just kind of completely lost at this point because she didn't get help from the person she was directed to go talk to get help. And Saizo is technically the only person that has actually bothered to help her, even if it was against his will. So she's kind of latching onto him. And he's like, no, leave me alone, stop following me. And she's like, I can't walk anymore, and falls over. Just maybe a little spoiled kind of acting, I don't know. But also kind of makes sense because completely fucking lost for what to do. And at this point, they get attacked by... I think at this point, it's revealed that they work for the Tokugawa. Which, I think I brought that up earlier. They're like the people that are directly to the west of where all this is going on. So, fight happens for a little bit. And then the two of them get caught in chains somehow. Like chain traps. And yeah, I think this is where Yukimura and the other guy, I can't remember whether it was the ninja or it was the attendant, they show up and save the day and fight people off, and Izanami kind of goes bonkers, and the gem in her hair just sort of creates a destructive field around her, kind of thing, and rots everything in about a 10-foot range.
Hey, fun fact. Who is Izanami named after?
It's cute. Yeah, that was the joke. It's Izanami is like
Goddess of death in the underworld.
Kind of.
And other stuff.
Yeah.
Other stuff.
Not technically the goddess of death, but yes.
That's how she's associated with in like a lot of modern media.
Yeah. So they were like, okay, not quite sure what happened there, and she doesn't seem to be aware of what happened because she thanks Saizo for saving her again. And they all go back to Ueda, and Yukimura decides, okay, this is an interesting thing that's going on, and the Tokugawa are invading my lands to chase this lady. So, we need about 10 guys. That's basically how his logic runs.
Yep, 10 guys.
Yep.
Exactly.
Because we have fingers.
And
Yep.
I can't count. I can't count past 10.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's the warrior clan, and he's not the head of the clan, so maybe he wasn't educated as well. Who knows? So, morning comes, and Izanami is like, food, yay! And Sarutobi brings them food, and is like, fuck you, Saizo! And yeah, ruins his food, and it's like, oh, by the way, Izanami, your food's in your room, so you're fine. So she fucks off and like, yay, food! Well, his is kind of just spilled on the floor. That's pretty much the episode, though.
Yeah, I remember I originally watched this, but I think I watched a few more episodes. They introduced all these designed characters, shall I say, that look very much like, yeah, these are your boss characters, and that's your Brave 10. I never was really too interested in this show in particular. And that's mainly because I don't have a lot of the context for this. Like, it's a thing where, because of my lack of exposure to a lot of the history and everything of Japan, I don't have a lot of basis to go off of. But if it was like, say, something more worldwide, like say a World War II type thing, that's more easy to latch onto because everybody experienced that.
Yeah.
But this is very localized.
Yeah, like, comparatively, I would have a lot of trouble following things in, say, the American Revolutionary War or the Civil War. We weren't taught that in school. It wasn't especially important to us, so we don't actually know that sort of stuff. Likewise, most Western people don't know especially much about Sengoku period, except samurai are cool, and also ninjas.
In my school, they taught European history, but they never taught, Asiatic history.
Yeah, there's still a pretty big cultural divide there, where it's not considered of prime importance to know that sort of thing, and it's the sort of thing you would learn if you really want to push history specifically as something you want to study. And even then, you might have to specifically go for studying Asian history rather than just history.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I noticed this show picked a very specific time. Like, I have to assume there are so many Sengoku period stories in Japanese fiction that they have to just try and wiggle their way into a space where people don't really tell many stories. I feel like the sort of mid-period sonata are one of those where they're kind of not really doing anything important at this period in time. Like, they were kind of important when the Takeda were a thing. They were pretty important at the end when the Tokugawa basically secure power, and they were pretty important during the Japanese-Korean War. Aside from that, not really. So I guess they chose this period because it's just the Sonata doing their own thing and just kind of not getting in anyone's way, where they can just tell a nice fantasy story and it's just kind of there. And it doesn't get in the way of anything else.
But, yeah, I guess, like, if you're interested in this time period, this probably interests you a bit more, but I think generally it might be a little bit more of the generic variety.
Yeah. I am kind of interested in the Sengoku period. I could stand to watch some more, but I'm not exactly in love with it. It's fine. Like, I'm curious where they would take it in terms of the greater scope of the time period. I have to assume at some point they deal with, like... It seems they're focused on the Tokugawa as being adversaries, so... I was kind of expecting it to be like, oh, Oda Nobunaga burning the temple, it's going to be the demon lord, yada yada, yada yada again. It wasn't. It's kind of pleasantly surprising, but, you know, it's not that engaging. The comedy is kind of there, the action is kind of there, but, yeah, so
just lukewarm.
Yeah.
Basically.
I could stand to watch some more if I didn't have the internet and thus anything else available. Yeah, I guess that's the downside of having access to everything all the time, is things that are just, okay, I could watch more, is you won't watch more, because you could watch other things that you prefer.
Just have to spark someone's interest, particularly to keep their attention nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well.
All right. Well, if that's all there is to it, who's rolling today?
I will.
Yes, make Zero roll, because that means he has to stop playing Dark Souls.
You know, hey.
I can hear the thumbsticks clicking, you moron.
I'm sorry. What is it, 1 to 26?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, 26.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we've hit numbers again.
Yay! I guess. I mean, it's numbers.
All right. Well, we've hit 2 anime here thus far, and do bear in mind this is the last week where we don't have vetoes.
So 2 anime?
We've already passed that. Remember, you had access to your veto last week because this comes out in January, as did last week's.
I wasn't sure if we decided on that.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, so we have 2 animes in this?
we've hit 2 animes in this, leaving a
Okay.
total of 14.
14? Got it.
Cool.
14.
Okay.
Bottom of the barrel twice. Very well. The winner today is 91 Days.
91 days. I will link. The time is 1920, 5 years after national prohibition law took place at a city called Laurel in the United States. I don't know the pronunciation. Main character Avilo arrives to join the Vampiro family mafia undercover in order to seek revenge of killers who killed his parents and brothers in this mafia. A killing starts kills. Revenge starts new revenge. A story of vengeance and sorrow starts now. Prohibition America. That's an unusual place to set an anime.
I agree.
I am interested.
Yeah, that seems interesting.
The setting alone, I mean, the plot, we've all seen revenge plots before, but This is one where I'm actually interested to see it without a supernatural twist to it.
I mean, the family is called Vampiro. That rings a couple of alarm bells, but we'll see how that goes. It might just be a theme thing.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a theme thing. Well, so, no chance of vetoing this. We've knocked out another one from the numbers.
Yay. Numbers.
Mm-hmm.
One actually kind of threw me. I was not expecting something this... Yeah, I'll call it unique. I wasn't expecting something this unique a setting. Like, Alright.
Yeah.
So, Zero, tell me, did you really actually roll 26?
I did, and it was crazy.
Last number twice.
I mean, it has just as much of a chance as any other number.
Yeah, that's true.
Probability's always weird. Alright, so anime next week is 91 Days. We'll see how that goes. I am intrigued, to say the least.
Cautiously optimistic.
So bye, everybody.
See you guys.
Bye.
Take care.